Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday, July the 19th, and appreciate you being with us and everything. I'm sorry we've had a lot of different things we had to get into, but we've got different guests and with us, and the newly appointed to Colonel, not interim, but to Colonel. Jack Chambers is with us today from the State Police, and he's going to cover several topics. And as I promised you, I would have Jack join us today, and so I'm sure he'll be available for your questions and everything. But like I said, before we get going and everything on that, I wanted to announce that we are officially appointing Jack as our full-time superintendent, of the West Virginia State Police. But I'll turn it over to our full-time colonel now, not our interim colonel, and our interim superintendent rather. And Jack, if you could talk to us, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Governor. Thank you for the appointment again. First thing I want to do is start out with some acknowledgments, accomplishments, confidence, and support. One from the Governor's Office, the citizens of West Virginia, members of the state legislature. I've actually received phone calls from senators and delegates offering support through the last 121 days, but who's counting days, but 121 days since March 20th. Media outlets, retired state police and civilian employees, and of course, the men and women that make up our agency every day, Governor, and make these things happen. We've been very, very busy. Three topics that I have noted that I'll go over. Start with, sir, the Academy, West Virginia State Police Academy. Currently, we're in the process of replacing a camera system with 60 top-of-the-line cameras on the compound at the Academy and all the common areas, installing an access controlled system on the Academy complex, in and out. I've made some staff changes at the State Police Academy. There's been a curriculum adjustment to provide a better educational environment and retention of knowledge. A memorandum of understanding with our friends at West Virginia State University for 30 college credit hours for basic classes and 90 hours for the cadet program. That's a big accomplishment there as well. We've upgraded our female barracks with in-house female staff member. I have actually a full-time sergeant that's a female at the Academy. And we've had females through the years, but that is her main job now. Deputy Superintendent, Lieutenant Colonel meets with female trainees before every class at the Academy now, whether that be a basic or a cadet, and at the end. They're told that they can communicate with us anytime they feel they need to. Some accountability things that have changed over the last 121 days. There's a change in daily activity reports on hours worked and approved. First line supervisor has to approve any hours worked, no matter what your rank is, it goes to the next level supervisor for approval. During this time, I've also arranged with our friends from the FBI to teach a civil rights class, the seriousness of acting under the color of law, which we got about half of in-service done with that, and they've offered to come back and finish up the rest of the cadet class or the state police, and I'm definitely going to take them up on that. Since this time I've been there, I've separated employment with 4 troopers that were failing to meet the standard and expectations of the state police. Didn't feel they need to be a part of the agency. I've reviewed, and the state police has reviewed, all the memorandum of understanding with everyone that we have an agreement with. And also that has been run through Department of Homeland Security. Department of Homeland Security has been helpful in a lot of the process for the last 120 days. We're working with the DAS is what they call it, Department of Administrative Services oversight on grants, purchasing, human resources for transparency and another set of eyes to look at what we're doing down at the state police. And so far, it has been pretty smooth, other than the adjustments, trying to change some things around. But as far as the two agencies working together, I feel that it's going to be beneficial in the long run for sure, and it's helping us through some hurdles now. We've also received and continue to receive assistance from the state auditor's office through many of the processes. Okay, I know you want to know about some investigations, and I do know what you want to know, and I'll tell you what I can. Some things I can't. I know nobody likes to hear that, but some things I can't. But the hidden camera at the police academy is currently a subject of federal and internal investigations. Both of those are in action now and are active. The protective order has been lifted by a female trooper that had a DVP on file. That has been dropped at her request. And the state charges and the strangulation for domestic battery on the accused trooper is in the hands of the Ritchie County prosecutor, and he would have to comment on that if I'm going to be asked that question. The alleged rapes that are currently under investigation by federal investigations and civil litigation. The I-81 incident, again, is under investigations, and there's an internal that has been somewhat completed, not completely, but that is being looked at by the U.S. Attorney of the North and a special prosecutor from state court. I think I've mentioned in the past that we did send an apology letter out to any female that may have been victimized by a hidden camera to locker room. Again, unacceptable. I said that on day one, day two. And also working with Homeland Security, we're still in the process and working with the governor's office as well with a Marshall University health line to call in if someone at the academy or someone's having a problem or an issue, that they can have someone to speak to if they feel they need to call. So those are some of the topics I wanted to talk about today and let you know. One, it's been a really busy 120 days, and we're looking into all the matters that were brought forward, and still the state police has to move on every day. I haven't been back to talk to you since we lost our trooper, Sergeant Maynard. Still working through that. We have been in contact with the family and making sure their needs have been met, and we've done that up to what we can do so far. We had another trooper shot a couple days ago up in the Beckley area. Not as severe, but she still obtained an injury, and assistance of other agencies, we were able to apprehend that suspect that night, but we had to wind up, that turned into a fatality at the end of the evening. He wouldn't comply with verbal commands from our officers. So it's been a busy 121 days, and it just seems to be getting busier. But again, I just want to thank you for your support, Governor, and I can promise you that everybody's doing their dual best to get out in front of everything that's been behind us, and we're looking forward. We're making changes and making positive changes. Thank you.
No, thank you, sir. And I know we're going to have questions, and we welcome the questions, and so we'll get to that in just a few minutes. But Colonel, thank you, sir. And it's hard for me not to call you Jack, but we thank you, and we look forward to your answers on the questions that will be coming. I've got to say something here, but about an individual that decided that he was going to retire. He actually came to us in excess of a year ago, and that is Jeff Sandy. He was my first appointment, as far as one of our secretaries. He's done an amazing job. Jeff is an honorable, good man, good family. He's been with us for the last 7 years, and I want to read just a few of the successes, but He oversaw the reorganization of the Department of Military Affairs and Public Safety as the Department of Homeland Security. He also oversaw the consolidation of our jails, prisons, and juvenile centers into one unit. Since 2016, West Virginia's total violent crime incidents, get this number, decreased by 27.8%, which is a testament to all of our law enforcement agencies working together. And I have assigned Jeff multiple investigative projects that have saved our state millions of dollars and rooted out a lot of bad behavior. You know, I asked Jeff to stay on and everything because I wanted him to head up the investigation that Colonel Chambers is talking about right now. Again, I can never thank Jeff enough for all the hours and the time and all the hard work that he gave, and when he could have been doing stuff with his family. And I just presented Jeff today with the Distinguished West Virginian Award. I don't give many of these because I think, something that is going to be the highest award that the governor of the state of West Virginia could give. We don't need to pass them out like candy, but really and truly, he is very deserving. I wish him the very best in his retirement. I absolutely want everyone to know that if Jeff Sandy wants to stay and everything, he's welcome to stay here until my terms are up and everything. He has done a great, great, great job, but we wish him the very, very, very best. His new appointment is Mark Sorsay, I guess is how you, or Sorsay. But Mark is a great, great, great man. He's a new Secretary of Homeland Security. I guess that was released earlier and everything. That'll go into effect on August the 1st. And Mark is a career prosecutor, and when he gets on the job in August, he will be joining my briefings, and I will introduce him at that time. You can ask him questions and everything, but he's currently the Putnam County prosecutor, and so I think Mark will do a great job in that role. Today I have another transition announcement to make and everything. Our current Chief Information Officer, Josh Spence, is moving on to the private sector, and we wish him the very best and everything. Without any question, the state jobs can't compete in many ways with the private sector. Josh is a superstar. He's got 23 years of service with the West Virginia Air National Guard. I could go on and on and on. He's done a great, great job for us and everything, and he'll be hard to replace, but I think we've got a very adequate replacement, and I know that Heather Abbott will do a wonderful job. She's our new Chief Information Officer, and that is effective July 29th. Heather is currently the Chief Operations Officer at the Office of Technology. She has 27 years of technology experience and has assisted with IT operations throughout the state and everything. She's very, very, very qualified. I think she'll do a great, great job, and I hope everyone will join me in congratulating Heather as she steps into this new and important role, as far as an agency head. But, now, if I could keep moving here, but we had an incident that happened last night. We've had some really tough storms that have moved all through the state and everything, and I guess with a lightning strike and then a fire, pursuing that and everything, or happening after that and everything, happened to the Jefferson County Day Report Center, and basically, after the fire, they requested $17,000 for equipment and supplies to help them get back up and running on an interim basis, and I immediately approved those funds and everything, and so they are going to the center today. And so, but like I said, these storms, we've got to take heed and everything. They've been pretty tough at times. Our unemployment numbers, remain at 3.3% in June. The national average is at 3.6%. So we continue to trend in a good way there. I want to talk just a second about the Boy Scouts of America. The Scouts are an incredible organization. That's all there is to it, whether it be boys or girls. And we are welcoming 15,000 of them from all over the U.S. and the world to the summit, the Bechtel Summit, and in Fayette County. Then they'll be there for the next 9 days. It's really, really, really something to see all those scouts and to see their commitment and to see their learning, of principles and everything that they can carry through their entire life. The National Guard is going to be, take the lead role, but there's so many other agencies, they're working with emergency management and state police and Department of Highways, DHHR and everything, and the State Emergency Operations Center. There's so many different folks that are involved here, and so absolutely, if you get a chance and everything to just, if it be nothing more than just watching on TV, and see the different scouts and all the different activities that they're going through and learning and everything, and building a foundation of real honor. It's good stuff. It's really good. There's a record fish that was caught by an 11-year-old, and get this is the longest long-nosed gar caught in West Virginia in our state's history now. But this fish was measured at 53.62 inches long, and it was caught by Rich Chapman of Ashton, West Virginia. I go back to the little town of Ashton, West Virginia. There was a fellow that lived there. His name was Chris Hughes. And Chris Hughes and I hunted together so much. It was unbelievable when I was at Marshall University. He was just a country kind of guy, but he was a great, great, great friend and what an incredible person. But nevertheless, this fish was measured, by one of our fishery biologists, and that was Jeff Hansbarger, and Jeff measured the fish to be a length of 53.62 inches. It broke the record of 52.25 inches, but it did not break the weight. The weight, still stands as a state record from a weight standpoint of 19.08 pounds. These fish are long and slender and everything, but congratulations, and million congratulations to this, to an 11-year record that was broken. It wasn't an 11-year-old. It was an 11-year record that was broken by Rich Chapman of Ashton. So, Rich, great job. That's all I've got for right now.
All right, thank you, Governor. We'll now go to questions from members of the media. The first today from Kenny Bass with WCHS and Fox 11.
Thank you again for taking the question. Good to see you, Governor Justice, and I hope you recovered from your recent surgery. I had a question about not only Secretary Sandy, but also the new secretary coming in, Mark Sorsay. I know that the resignation, the retirement, I should say, was a long time in coming. He requested to do it last year, but then stuck around through the various crises we've been facing, including the correctional and the state police investigations. Number one, how important was it that you had that continuity, that Secretary Sandy was able to stay? And number two, what qualities about Mark Sorsay led you to appoint him to the office of secretary? Thank you.
Well, Kenny, two things. First of all, I have an incredible relationship with Jess Sandy, and we just seemed to have crisis after crisis that came up and everything, and we needed him, and Jeff was kind enough to stay, and I can never thank him enough. Like I said, if he would stay on till the last day that I'm here and everything, I'd have him in a second, because he did a great, great, great job. It's a real honor to give him a Distinguished West Virginian Award, and I just can't pass on enough accolades. You see, in my world at least, Kenny, the number one thing that drives the boat is honor, truth. And you know, sure, I mean, Jeff's got things that maybe whomever may not like, same way as me. But there is a real difference, you know, when somebody is willing to step up and have real honor about what they do, and with that have great expertise and good judgment, and that's Jess Sandy through and through. Now, in regard to Mark Saya, you know, Mark is a current prosecutor. He is so well qualified. You know, we have looked, his judgment, his experience, absolutely, he is just perfectly qualified to do this job. And, you know, at this time, to the very best of my abilities, this is the right man for the job. So, you know, I'm sure we'll all jump in, help Mark in any and every way we can possibly help him and everything. But, and I'm sure Jeff would do exactly the same thing. So we want to make this transition just absolutely perfect, and everybody's going to work to do that.
All right, thanks, Kenny. Next to Charles Young with WV News.
Hi, this is Charles Young with WV News. Governor, yesterday, Senator Manchin filed an amicus brief with the Supreme Court in support of the Mountain Valley Pipeline. Just a little bit ago, a release came out that said Senator Capito and Representatives Miller and Mooney had done the same thing. I was wondering if you were planning on writing an amicus brief in support of the pipeline. Thank you.
Absolutely. You know, it is a tremendously important project, and I will do that absolutely today. And you know, it is an extremely valuable project to our state. It's ridiculous it's been held up this long. I mean, you know, to be perfectly honest, you know, it blows me away. You know, that some ways that our federal government will become armed. I mean, you know, and just do anything and everything it can possibly do to push a view of what, you know, a personal preference may be. I mean, we all know, and it's absolutely silly to think anything else. We can't do without our fossil fuels in this world today. There's no possibility. There's absolutely no possibility. Maybe someday, and we want to embrace our alternatives. I do that. You've seen that. I do that. But absolutely, when it comes to natural gas of all things, you know, we ought to be promoting. We have an abundance here beyond belief. We ought to be promoting the cleanest possible energy, and we absolutely ought to be running with that ball. You know, so like I said, it was ridiculous beyond belief to have our pipeline, you know, projects shut down. And hopefully we'll be able to move forward.
All right, thanks, Charles. Next to Emily Rice with West Virginia Public Broadcasting.
Hi, thank you for having me. This is Emily Rice with West Virginia Public Broadcasting. I have a question for Colonel Chambers. With at least 70 female law enforcement officers in fear they were violated, and after several months since your investigation started, can you give us the most detailed update possible on the hidden camera investigation? And what have you done to correct what those women say was a culture of sexism and cover-ups at the West Virginia State Police Academy?
Okay, Colonel, it's you.
Can answer for you. There is a rough number that we've been notified of 70, 71 through there. We've turned that over, of course, on our side to the attorneys. And again, there's a federal investigation going on as far as an internal as it goes, as it pertains to the camera itself, ma'am. Some of the things that we have done, I mentioned earlier there, if you had me, was we're upgrading all camera systems, trying to change some of the stuff we do at the academy. Our academy's not completely broke. Some would think that it is not. Staff changes have been made. Like I say, the camera systems are in the process of being upgraded to a top-of-the-line system. We'll know who's there and who's not, hopefully. I was here at the Capitol for 6.5 years and was able to learn that part of the job here, the cameras all around the state capitol. So, yes, we are making changes. I mentioned most of them earlier. There are investigations going on as far as really deep in what we have. The attorneys have that, and waiting on civil litigation now.
All right, thanks, Emily. Next, we'll go to Mark Curtis with WOWK.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, congratulations to Jeff Sandy and Mark Sorsay, and especially congratulations to Colonel Chamber on having the interim removed from your title. You and Major Mitchell have been really great to work with the last 120 days, and we expect the same going forward. Colonel, I do have to ask you a question. You named all the major investigations you guys are handling right now, but you did not touch on one. And I do have to ask about the investigation of Kanawha County Commission President Kent Carper. I realize you can't get into specifics of the investigation, but the fact of the matter, this was turned over to you from the Charleston Police Department. A special prosecutor has been appointed. Quite honestly, when I talk to people out in the public, a lot of folks think the fix is in, that this is a powerful, influential politician, not only in Kanawha County, but across the state, and that nothing's going to be done, and that he's going to be given a pass. So what can you say to assure the public and all the parties involved that this is going to be a thorough, fair, and independent investigation, and that you will not hesitate to recommend criminal charges if you find the prima facie evidence to issue such charges?
Colonel, that's you again, sir.
Mark, thanks for the question, and I did mention in my acknowledgement there that I will have to tell you that the media has been pretty good to deal with the last 120 days, and we really appreciate that. As far as that investigation, I did receive a letter of request from a special prosecutor that was assigned the case on the Commissioner Carper alleged incident. I assigned a seasoned trooper from the state police side. The special prosecutor had also reached out to, I later found out, reached out to the U.S. Attorney's Office as well. So that investigation is being run by 2 state troopers through state court and also with the federal nexus as well. My job is in law enforcement, and I've done this for the last 34 years, is that I gather the facts, or we gather the facts, we put it in a report, and we present it to either a state prosecutor, which in this case it's a special prosecutor, or the federal prosecutor, for them to move forward with any criminal charges or potential criminal charges if in fact we've obtained enough evidence to show that criminal charges should be brought. As far as, people are going to say whatever, I know Commissioner Carper. He sent me a card as soon as the governor put me down at state police headquarters. I think most people that would know me would tell you that I'll be fair and honest, and we'll present the facts how they are, no matter who you may be. I'm not influenced by that, and like I say, the final decision as far as charges would go would be up to federal state prosecutors or federal state grand juries. Mark, I hope that answered you enough there, sir.
All right, thank you, Mark. Next, we'll go to Jess Mancini with Ogden Newspapers.
Hi, Governor, we lost our internet service here for about 15 minutes, so if you went over this, I apologize. But my question is your reaction to the pending sale of the Pleasance Power Station, and what can the state do to help that process along, to expedite the process? Thank you.
Well, let me just say just this. For all that I know, and I think I know all the details, but for all that I know, I am excited about the sale of the power plant. I'm excited about the longevity of the power plant's future now. I'm excited about absolutely the ownership, and I do really believe that it has the ability now to give certainty to the community, and it has the ability to have growth. And there's so many valuable jobs there. I think 153 or 58 jobs that are there. But not only that, all the fallout of all the other jobs, because that plant is there and not mothballed and closed and everything, it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other jobs. And so with all that being said, I couldn't be happier. I am absolutely tickled to death that we have a solution, and now we'll go forward. And from the standpoint of support from the state side, I'm standing ready to do anything and everything I can, because I wanted this to happen. I wanted this to absolutely give certainty to those people up there. And if there's any area that needed this to happen right now, this is that Pleasant Power Plant was very worthy to save. And so really good stuff.
All right, thanks, Jess. Governor, back to you.
Okay, let me think here real quick. I thank our new, not interim, but now, superintendent of the West Virginia State Police, Jack Chambers. And Jack, keep on doing the honorable and good job that you're doing. I want to go back to Jeff Sandy. We'll miss Jeff, and we'll miss him in a big way and everything. And Jeff, thank you for the years. I mean, you gave us 7 years of your life. I can never thank you enough. Mark Sorsay, Mark, we know you'll do a great job and everything. We stand ready to help you and assist you in that. From the standpoint of Heather Abbott, we feel the same about Heather. We wish Josh the best and everything, but we feel like Heather will do a great job. And the other things, I guess, welcome all the scouts here again. That's really great stuff. And congratulations, Rich Chapman, on an incredible fish you caught. So with all that being said, I don't have anything else, but thank y'all so much. Let's just keep moving north and keep making it more and more and more good things happen in West Virginia. Thank all of you.